Welcome back to Horn Takes. This is day drinking in Texas sports. That's what we do, babe. How you doing? Cheers
Cheers.
on a Sunday afternoon. What are you sipping on, babe?
Lemon drop.
Lemon drop, homemade lemon drops. I've got a more manly ultra this week. This is a 16-ounce tall boy ultra. So I'm feeling a lot more manly. So that's good, I guess. I'm Sean Redfern of the Horn Takes podcast. She is my special lady friend. You can find her at his lady friend on Twitter. Go find her, follow her. She's trying to she's trying to get out in the Twitter sphere. She hasn't done a
Uh,
lot of Twitter. She's done
I'm
mostly
boring.
like, well, no, you've done mostly like Facebook, which is for old
Yeah.
people, and Snapchat, right? Like with your friends, you do the
Uh,
Snapchats because you
I'm
like
le-
to do the
I'm less on Snapchat. I'm more the old people Facebook.
man. She's
I
getting real
know.
old, y'all. She's not doing Snapchats anymore. And real quick, let me apologize for the lighting situation on my special lady friend. Uh, we got to get a better camera and we got to
I
figure out
know.
like what the next steps are. I think we need to just move down here into the
Yeah.
basement where we can dark it out completely and use like actual lights like I use. We got to figure that out. So we'll be looking at doing that. I don't know if we'll get it done by next time, but we'll certainly try our best. You guys will just have to go with it. Texas Longhorns get the sweep this weekend against Santa Clara. Horns up. That's right. What did we notice about the baseball this weekend? What are your thoughts? I mean, just drunk, day drinking, special lady friend thoughts.
I mean, I don't know. It was pretty good. Uh, I feel like the offense wasn't as good as what we saw last weekend. So there, I feel like it's hard for me to speak baseball, but that's one thing I noticed was, you know, there was a lot more of a bigger offense last weekend than this weekend. A lot more home runs, made it a lot more fun to watch. Uh, but that's what I noticed. A lot of shakeup too, especially with what they're doing on who's coming into the game, who's starting, and things like that. So that was interesting.
Yeah, definitely a lot less offense. I mean, the wind didn't help them at all this weekend. The wind, I mean, unless you could poke the ball like out to right center field and get it up, like you're probably not hitting a home run the last 2 days. The wind was like whipping from left to right at Dish Falk. The only night that was really conducive for home runs was Friday night. And I feel like, man, I'm trying to remember. I'm remembering this off the top of my. I know we hit one today. Jalen Flores knocked a really nice one to right center field. But I think I don't think we had one. And we didn't have one yesterday for sure. The Broncos did, but we didn't. And I don't think we hit one Friday night either. I'm trying to remember. Did oh yeah. Yeah, Casey Borba like absolutely murdered one out of left field, left center field on Friday night. So yeah, we've hit 2 home runs all weekend. Sadly,
Compared to
neither of them are
yeah.
outfielders. My outfielder home run ticker tracker thing is hurting early in the season. We started off great
Yeah.
down in Arlington, and then it is just almost nothing since Arlington. So I don't think we're getting to 50. If we get to 50 at this point, it'll be a miracle.
I mean, but hey, we still swept, like,
Oh,
even without all that. So that
yeah. I
that's
mean,
that speaks to, like, pitching and,
that's
you
right.
know, all that. I mean, they still did good. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Well, you
e
mentioned the changes.
yeah.
Dylan Delanez comes in and gets the start on, well, I was going to say on Sunday, on today.
Mhm.
Cade Bing had been the Sunday starter. Kind of, Cade Bing hasn't been bad at all. He's been like his first start was pretty rough, and I think everybody on the planet that's been around Cade Bing, everybody even that was at the games watching him come into the field that Sunday in Arlington, just kind of got the sense that Bing was just super amped up. So we can definitely excuse that one. His next start was really good, and then his last start just kind of in between, not bad, not great type of deal over there in Las Vegas. And so I think, the coaching staff just wanted to see what a guy like Dylan Valanis can do, who's come in multiple times this season in relief and done a hell of a job. And has pitched like multiple innings a lot of times in these relief appearances. I think the staff looks at Dylan Valanis and says, this is a guy we feel like definitely can do it for 3 or 4 innings. Can he do it for 5 or 6 innings? He comes in today, pitches 6 1/3, I believe, and I feel like he still had a lot of gas left in it. I think Coach Schloss came out and grabbed him. He had 65 pitches. I think Coach Schloss comes out and goes, "Hey, we're doing good. This is the confidence boost we need for a true freshman coming in, getting his first Sunday start. He's done great so far." I feel like if they had to, Dylan Volantis could have gone much deeper into that game. But
Yeah.
again, he's a freshman. They're trying to save his arm, trying to make sure he's got a positive outlook on his first start. What do you think about that?
Well, like you said, we were both disappointed. We're like, "Oh, why are they taking him out?" And we were rooting for him, and he was doing great. And then you explained to me what you kind of just touched on right there in your comments about how, hey, he's going to be going into next weekend into some very hostile territory.
That's right.
Let's let him leave on a high. And I mean, I don't know if that was their thought process, but it's good to think that behind the scenes that might have been their thought process, which is pretty good for him to leave the game where he was right there, because he was cruising.
Yeah, he
So,
was
I
doing
mean,
really well.
I thought we were watching the game in the basement because we were watching the girls play basketball, which I don't know if we know the outcome of that yet, but we're not big basketball people, but of course they were playing for the SEC championship, so you got to watch that for sure. But so we watched down there because we had the two TVs where we watched side by side, and so I ran back upstairs and tried to do some things and come back down, and I was like, "What the heck happened?" He's like, "Oh, Dylan struck them all out." I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy." So,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
he
he was
had
doing good.
I think he had man, I think again, I've been drinking all day, so I'm not like, don't hold me to fact. I feel like those 3 strikeouts in that one inning were the only 3 strikeouts he had, but man, he rolled a lot of ground balls, man. It's tough to get the ball in the air on Dylan
Yeah.
Volantis. And I know, and I keep calling him Volantis. It's probably Volantis. So I need to correct myself on that. But Dylan Volantis rolls a lot of ground balls, and I think that's probably why the coaches are really high on him. I mean, he keeps the ball low. You hardly ever see him get the ball up. And usually when you get the ball up and someone makes good contact, that's where you start to have problems. So yeah, man, for a freshman coming in, we saw him in the alumni game, and I was really impressed with him. And I was like, man, this kid looks pretty good. And then every time we've seen him come out in a game since then, he's done really well. And he just followed that up with a really nice performance today. Gets his first win at the University of Texas. So that's awesome for him. 13 games in a row for the baseball team, which is their best start since 2005.
Oh, wow.
Which is the last year they won the national championship. So yeah, that's good stuff. I mean, I don't know what it portends. A lot tougher conference. They're going to go on the road this weekend to play the Mississippi State Bulldogs, who I think the Mississippi State Bulldogs were ranked in the top 25 to start the season. They haven't had a great start, and so they're out of the top 25 now, but I don't think any of that necessarily matters. This will be the first SEC series for the Texas Longhorns. They're going on the road, and they're going to probably one of the best venues in college baseball. And I don't even know what it's called. Don't even ask me what it's called. I don't care. All I know is that place holds like 18 grand for a college baseball field. That is a lot. I mean, it's a nice facility. I'm jealous of all the Texas Longhorns that are going to be able to get over there and watch it. I was thinking about, so this morning, his lady friend says, I said something about, I think Mark, our guy from Occupy Left Field that does the bullpen with us on Monday night, I think I told my special lady friend that Mark was going to go. And she goes, well, why don't you just go? I was like, oh, okay. And so I start thinking about it, and I'm like, man, that would be fun. I could just drive over. I could haul ass. I would have to drive. I'd have to get up either super early or just leave Thursday afternoon and just drive until I got tired, find a place to stay, and then finish the drive, right? Here's the problem with getting to Starkville, Mississippi. On a regular airline, maybe on like Bob's airline, you can get to Starkville, Mississippi, but I don't think on like a normal airline you can just get to Starkville. You got to fly into Jackson, Mississippi, and then it's like another 2.5 hour drive from Jackson up to Starkville. You remember that drive? Remember when we got to Starkville on the way to Tuscaloosa? or not Starkville. We got to Jackson, Mississippi on the way to Tuscaloosa, and then it was like all these back roads.
Yes.
We're like, man, we're making really good time. Like we're gonna be there in no time. And it was like these back roads that went around a lake or something.
Yes, but not, mind you, it was a very pretty drive.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Man,
absolutely. Yeah, Mississippi.
A
lot of people say Mississippi is a dump, and
it was beautiful.
I don't know. Maybe it is, like,
yeah,
economically, but man, beautiful country. Like we were really impressed. I'm from Northeast Texas, so that whole area of like the SEC land, like Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, even parts of Louisiana, like the northern parts of Louisiana, some parts of Arkansas, remind me a lot of Northeast Texas. So I love it. I mean, trees, lakes, creeks, not rivers, creeks. Man, good stuff. So yeah, a beautiful drive, but it is a 2.5 hour drive. So I think for me, when you factor in like airport sit time and all that kind of crazy shit, it just makes sense just to drive. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I could get there as fast driving probably. Yep. But then
and not have to deal with all the bullshit. Like, just go.
Yeah, I don't have to. Yeah, all the BS with like plane stuff. Yeah, exactly right. And it'd be a lot cheaper, obviously. But here's the thing. So I said that, and I immediately go out to the living room, and I'm messing around with some stuff, doing some stuff on the computer, and I pull out my phone and I look at Twitter, and Mark Pena, Occupy Left Field, has just tweeted the weather, like a screen cap of the weather from Starkville for next weekend. I think I could be wrong on this too, because I've been drinking. I think the highest temperature next weekend in Starkville, Mississippi, 58 degrees. And there's chances of rain on Saturday. And man, it kind of hurt, because I was getting excited. I was like, I think I might do this.
I got you hyped. I gave you that pass.
You did. I got the pass, and now the weather is just going to be so bad. I don't want to drive to Starkville, Miss. I don't want to drive 11 hours and then have a game rain out, or have have the whole thing shifted a couple days or something. Because
that's the thing. It's not just sitting in it. Sitting in it's one thing. I mean, you love your team. You love your team. You're going to do what it takes to live through that game and watch them. But man, it's the possibility of canceling or this or that.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it's a conference deal. I don't remember the last time this has been an issue, but I feel like for conference like games, like they'll play on into Monday or something like that if they have to. They'll figure out a way to get those 3 games in. So man, I'm not ruling it out, because we're still a few days out. The weather could change.
Hey, you got that pass.
I know. I appreciate that.
It's open-ended.
If I show up at whatever the hell Mississippi State's baseball stadium is called, don't be surprised. But also, if you don't see me there, do not be surprised, because I can't. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. The other thing is, could I even get a hotel in Starkville, Mississippi? Starkville, Mississippi, folks, if you don't know, 25,000 is the population, roughly. 18,000 people go in that baseball stadium. Their football stadium holds over 60. So that means like 30,000 plus people are going to Starkville to go watch a football game.
Dude,
and that means like 3/4 of the population will be at the baseball game, which, I mean, not exact science, because people will come in to go to the baseball, but you get the point. Like, it's not a big place, but they have a massive baseball field.
Hey. Dude.
Hey, what?
You have trucked it through Iraq, lived in some horrible situations. You could probably sleep in the car, and you would be golden.
Yeah, I could do
that. And again,
I
also
could do
saving
that.
money.
I could bivouac. Outside of.
You really wanted to.
Yeah.
You would survive.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. If we do it, we'll do it. The problem is the weather. I might freeze to death. I don't know what the lows are, but if the highs are 58, it's probably going to be pretty cold at night.
Please don't freeze to death.
Yeah, I won't freeze to death. Well, anyway, we'll see how that goes. But a big road test for the Texas Longhorns starting off SEC play. Again, I don't think Mississippi State has had the start they've wanted to have, but man, it's SEC baseball. I mean, you're talking like all across that conference, there's a lot of good baseball players. So you can't take anything for granted. But so far, 13-1 for these Texas Longhorns. They look really good. We don't know what their record would have been if they'd have got that Houston midweekend that got canceled because of the terrible weather. So I think they would be 14-1, clearly. But who knows? I mean, this team could easily be undefeated. I think there's 5 teams left that are undefeated in Division I college baseball. Texas could easily be one of those because they really let one get away from them in that Louisville game. Let's let's backtrack a little bit. The last time we had this show, we were talking all about going to Vegas. We were excited about going to Vegas for the Las Vegas Baseball Classic. We went and did that. We had an absolute great time.
So
What was
fun.
your the whole weekend? Doesn't have to be baseball related, but like what was your moment in Vegas? What whether it was baseball or not? What was it?
Well, you know me. I like to do the whole sport involvement and like outside of sport involvement. So I'm gonna give you my 2 with
Okay.
sports and outside of sports. So of course the favorite was Saturday. The Texas Tech game, there was that hype because we're not in conference with them anymore. Um, we just happened to kind of be able to hang out with some of the parents pregame, and that part was fun because our son is not playing baseball anymore, so kind of to be included in some of that baseball family hype was a lot of fun, and to watch them kick Texas Tech ass was a lot of fun. So Saturday night's game was a lot of fun, and then Sunday, when all of it wrapped up, all the baseball games wrapped up, we got to enjoy just me and you in Vegas, and that was a lot of fun. We went to a show. I can't even pronounce the name. You're gonna have to help me pronounce the name.
Absinthe.
Yeah, in a circus tent. I don't know if you've ever been. It's raunchy. It's fun. It's a variety show. We met some people from other countries, and it was a fun time. And
Yeah, we met Andy and Helena. Was that her name? Helena? It was something along those lines. I feel like I'm not 100%
cannot
right on that.
remember. Yeah, I can't
But yeah, we
remember.
met Andy. I remember Andy specifically for sure because it was kind of I don't know why, but when we found out they were from New Zealand and we started talking to them, and we'll get into like you know what? Let's just start from the beginning of how we met Andy and probably Helena. Maybe not Helena.
I don't think it was Helena.
It was something close though, right? Like something around that.
The day drinking team.
Yeah, the day drinking
The
squad.
day drinking team. I mean, let's be honest. Well, you didn't. I started. Sean was doing media coverage, so he didn't have anything to drink, but it was an 11 o'clock game.
Yep.
On Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tried to wait as long as I could, but man, you love
drinking a beer or
oh,
having a
I
drink
do
at
at baseball games, football games, any sort of game. I mean, whatever you want to call me, I don't give a crap, but I like to have a drink. And so I tried to wait as long as I could. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go have a drink. And so we had some drinks. And then, of course, the game's over. We go back to the hotel and then chill. And then we have to go to dinner and re-hype it up again. So Diane was lit. Come meeting Helena and Andy. I don't know, but I don't remember her name. But
anyway, so here's how this whole night goes. We go eat dinner where the Jersey Shore people eat Casa di Amore.
Oh.
We love our Italian food, right?
Yes, and I love my Jersey Shore.
Yeah, that's right. So we had to make a reservation there, which we did. Not a big place. I'm kind of surprised about that.
Very
but the
small.
food was really good, and the drinks were really good.
Oh.
We had a nice bottle of wine, and then for our after sort of like dessert drinks, you had a espresso martini that
I didn't even think about it. We were finishing up, and the waitress was like, "Y'all want anything for dessert?" And we're not big dessert people. We try to stay away from high sugar items and things like that if we can. And she's like, "Man, I make a mean espresso martini," and I was like, "Sold." I forgot that was even a thing, and she made me one, and it was awesome. So yes, it was
really good. I had
drinks,
a sip of it.
Food,
it was
experience.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, the only thing I didn't like about it, and it had like this cool, these 2 guys playing like music and singing and stuff. It was a real laid back environment. It was really good. And you said you thought you saw something about how these guys were like old school, like Las Vegas, like big
They
time names or
yes,
something.
uh-huh.
Still
It's what I
playing music,
saw.
still singing.
They're
It was
still
really
playing.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good music and singing. The only thing
And
I didn't like was how small the place was
right.
and where we sat, like kind of over towards where the bar was. Be careful if you sit at the bar or around the bar at Casa di Amore because there's like very narrow walkway and people crowded. So there was like literally people standing right next to me while I'm trying to
Yeah,
have
trying to eat.
my dinner and
A
which wasn't
romantic
terrible.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't ideal, I guess would be
Yeah.
the way to
I
say
mean,
it. So
if you're taking your lady friend on a first night, like, date, and they're like, "Hey, do you mind sitting by the bar?" That's a red flag.
yeah,
But
you should wait. You should wait
yeah,
for a
just
table
wait.
that's not like that. But
Yeah.
anyhow, we go eat dinner. Dinner was great, and then we go. Okay, we got to get over there, go to this show. And Casa di Amore off the strip. It's probably I don't know. I think we drove 10 minutes or something to get
But
back.
so worth it. I mean,
Oh
it was
yeah,
good. And side note, it's not I don't know, like, good, bad parts of Vegas, but they did had security out
yeah, they did.
there,
They had security
out
out
by
in the
your
parking lot.
cars, out by
Yeah,
the parking lot, so it was a very safe place to be.
yeah.
I
Anyway,
felt
good
safe.
food, good
Yeah,
drink, good safety.
yeah.
We go back over to the strip. We go to the Bellagio, right? Or no, it was
No,
Caesar's
no, no,
Palace.
Caesar's Palace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
park at Caesar's Palace where our show is. We go to this drink place. What was it called? What was the drink
Oh,
place?
Vanderpump
Vanderpump
Rules? Vanderpump Rules.
cocktail place,
Yeah,
cocktail
cocktail
bar.
bar. I had
It's inside of Caesar's Palace. It was really good.
yeah,
Expensive,
yeah,
but
very
the drink
expensive.
was pretty good and the vibe
Yeah.
was kind of cool. So no, we did that and then we go over to I don't know. We're like 30 minutes out from the start of our show, supposedly absent. We go over there. We get by the circus tent, which is outside. It was really
Well,
cold.
we did not know it was all outside. We're like, "Let's just go. I'm sure they have a place where we can go have drinks." Like, I'm not spending another $25 on a drink at this cocktail bar, let's go over there and have a drink, and then we go, and it's, like, all outside. But they
And
had
it was
heaters.
cold. It was
Yeah,
cold that night. Yeah, it was cold.
yeah,
But they had a heater. They
yeah.
had these heaters by the outdoor uh table bench
Yeah.
area, whatever bar top thing. We go get drinks, which consequently were $25 a piece.
Yes, we didn't save
Yeah,
anything.
we didn't save any money. I don't know why we thought I don't know why we thought we were gonna go get cheaper drinks near the show. But anyway, we go get some drinks. We find a table that's got this heater, and man, it was nice. It felt really good. We're chilling, underneath the heater, and this couple walks by, and I could tell that the the wife was freezing, and she's like looking at us and like and I go, come over here, like get this heater. So I kind of shuffled around. I left my special lady friend in the direct line of fire of this heater, and they cuddled in, and we just start talking. And obviously, right off the bat, you can tell they're not from the United States. So we're like, "Oh, where are you guys from?" New Zealand. Oh shit! We start talking about New Zealand, and what are you here for? Da 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 da. They're here in town, and there was a massive rugby tournament type thing, and so there was a ton of Aussies, ton of New Zealanders, probably tons of people from other countries as well, over there for this rugby tournament. And so we start talking about that, and they they had a lot of good comments about Americans, which if
Yes.
you're like they were like really surprised how nice Americans were because
I
I guess it's their first time in America, and all they hear about is how unfriendly and I guess aggressive and mean or whatever
yeah,
Americans are. So
and
that was
and
cool.
and that was news to me. I guess I'm very naive or didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know Americans got a bad rap at other countries, so, um, that kinda opened my eyes when they made that comment, and so I was really happy to hear that their experience this trip was like, "Oh, they get such a bad" people say all this, but we've had all this stuff about Americans, but we've had nothing but good experiences, and that made me that made me feel good, and I don't know if other people are as naive as I am, but, like, I guess we get a bad rap over other places, so I guess just a wake-up call when people from other countries come over to visit, welcome them and make them feel comfortable here in America and let them know, "Hey, we're happy to see you," and show yeah.
Interested
Yes,
about you and where you're from and all that. Yeah.
tell them about things that can help them and help them
Yeah.
with their visits and things like that, so,
Yeah, so it was
um,
great. We talked to Andy, and man, I'm gonna call her Helena because I don't know. I feel
I
like
don't
it's close to
remember.
that.
Yeah.
I apologize if you're watching this out there, Andy and Helena. I probably butchered your name. I apologize. I remember your face,
But
and we talked about that. How we remember faces. I
yeah,
remember faces, but I
but
can't remember names that well. They were fun, really cool
they
to hang out
they
with.
came down for the rugby,
They
so
came
they're
down for the
big. Yeah.
rugby. That's right. And so then we go in the show, and folks, if you go to Vegas and you like shows at all, go to Absinthe. It was hilarious, and it
Nobody's
is
safe.
raunchy.
Nobody's
Huh?
safe. Nobody's
Yeah,
safe.
nobody's safe. Like if you're in the audience, you might get messed with.
Yep.
But it's funny, and it's like, I mean, it actually isn't lighthearted, but it's man, it is funny. Even if I was the object of the attack, I would have thought it was funny because
Yeah.
that dude was just that funny. Go see that show. We've seen I think we've seen Ka or something like. We've seen one of the Cirque du Soleil shows, and we've been to other shows there. This was great
best.
because it was just a bunch of different stuff. It was
Yes.
like it wasn't like just a bunch of people jumping around and like boobs
But
out and stuff like that, which
but it
I'm a
was
fan of.
I mean, it was something for everybody.
Yeah.
Heterosexual.
Yeah, they had some gay dudes, they
gays.
had some
I mean
hetero people, they had some funny. I mean, it was
and they made
magic.
they made it to where even if that wasn't your thing, it was
It was
still your
comfortable.
thing.
Yeah,
It was still
yeah, it was
funny.
comfortable. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
very good. Yeah. Very good. Very well
Great
done.
show, worth the money. They rated it was like the number one show in Vegas.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
I mean, whoever knows if it's really the number one show in Vegas, but I could certainly. It's the best show I've been to at Vegas.
Yeah.
I'll say that. So anyway, we do that. Sunday night was a great night. We had a blast. But back to the baseball.
Yes.
Yeah, baseball team sweeps, wins the championship. So that's two tournaments that they've done preseason and
what,
gone and
35 runs?
Yeah, 35 runs. So the offense showed out big time. Oddly enough, the Sunday the wind was blowing out, and you can go check out the video I did on TikTok. I still have to put together my sort of like traveling roadshow video that I shot. I've been behind on that, but I will do that in the next couple of days and get that out there on YouTube. But I shot video of Sunday out in the outfield before the game, and the wind is just whipping. I mean, it's like 25 to 30 miles an hour, dead out. And so we're sitting there like Longhorn fans are going, man, we're about to put some like historic home run numbers up. Didn't hit a single damn one. Is that not crazy? Not a single home run.
It happens.
The only home run that day was by Illinois, and it was a poke, man. The guy got it out to right center, and I mean, he hit it hard. I think it would have been out anyway, but he got it up in that wind, and once it's up in that wind, it's out. So yeah, just kind of crazy. After Friday night, Saturday, we didn't have that wind, and I wouldn't say it was dead, but it wasn't like get the ball up and it's going to leave type of deal. Sunday, no home runs, but yeah, really good offensive performance. I think I know they scored 10 runs plus in every game. They scored 15 on Saturday, or excuse me, 15 on Sunday and 10 each on Friday night and Saturday. So yeah, big offensive performance. The starting pitching was outstanding in Las Vegas. Friday night and Saturday night for sure. Again, Cade being like not a bad start, just not what he would want, not what the coaches would want, and so yeah. But a great weekend, fun weekend for baseball. I did get to cover it. We both got credentials, so we got to go up in the This is a cool story. We get up there on Friday, and
tired. I mean, mind you,
we're tired. We've been flying all day, like trying to get there. We get there on Friday, probably 6th, 7th inning of the Texas Tech and Illinois game. And we go straight to the press box. We get in, we go straight to the press box, and I'm picking up all these press packets and stuff, like acting like I know what the hell I'm doing. And we're sitting at this little table, just kind of waiting for the game to be over so we can go get a spot at the press box, like out by the window. So I go over and I'm looking at some. Go ahead.
Which, by the way, can I add? I mean, sure. I've never been in a press box before. I don't know if you've ever been in a press box before, but it was small.
Yeah, it was small and it was hot. It was hot.
So small. Very close quarters. So, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry to distract you on that.
No, you're good. So I'm over there like looking at press packets again, and I turn around and in walks Craig Way, the voice of Texas sports. I'm like, holy shit, there's Craig Way. Like, I mean, if you're a Texas Longhorn and you've listened to the radio at all ever in the last 20 years, you've heard Craig Way, had some historic calls. There's a lot of highlight videos that have like his, Craig Way calls behind the video. So that was and this is the crazy part. He walks in, he's looking around at some stuff too, and he goes, "Hey, do you guys mind if I sit here?"
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sit with us. So Craig Way sits with us at the table. And, I introduce myself, I introduce my wife, and we get to talking, and it couldn't have been a nicer guy. He probably gets, I mean, Craig Way is probably not like mega famous, but like for a Longhorn person, like who Craig Way is, and I'm sure he gets a lot of attention. Couldn't have been any nicer. He hands me his phone that's got the lineup, so I start plugging the lineup into my tablet for the game, because I do Game Changer for all the games. So that was cool. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, who's calling the game with you? He said, Greg Moreland. I'm like, no shit. That's awesome. For those of you that don't know,
Keith.
My bad. I've been drinking all day. Cheers.
Cheers, Keith Moreland.
I got him and Greg Swindell
I
mixed up.
gotcha.
That's the problem. Thank you. That's why you're on this show. That's why you're a contributor to the Horn Takes podcast.
Yeah.
Keith Moreland is calling the game with Craig Way, and he comes around the corner, and so we get to meet Keith Moreland. And for those of you that don't know, Keith Moreland, obviously a MLB, obviously a Texas Longhorn mega legend, really good hitter in the MLB. Played, had a great career in the MLB. So we got to meet both those guys. That was awesome. Got to go do the press conferences after the game. I didn't do it on Saturday because Saturday I just took for me because it was Texas Tech. So we hung out. We hung out with actually some players' families. You mentioned it pregame.
It was so much fun.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome to get their perspective.
It was fun to be included. Yes, it was so much fun to be included in that family. Like,
So Mark Pena, Occupy Left Field. Every time he goes anywhere, there's going to be like a place where like the Longhorn people go, right? And so I don't know if he or Jeff, his partner, I don't know if they were the ones that set it up. I feel like they probably were, but anyway, he knows a lot of the parents, so the parents show up to these things. And there's a bar like just right across the parking lot, basically from the stadium, and that's where a lot of Texas Longhorn fans met up on Saturday before the game. And so, man, we got to meet a lot of the players' parents that we hadn't already met. We got to meet some parents on the plane on the way out. And I'm not trying.
We don't want to. Yeah, we don't. I don't want to
like dime people out and all. Yeah. So man, really good time to meet some of these folks and just talk to them about their kids. And we're not that far removed away from our own son playing some baseball. Obviously, didn't play at the University of Texas or past high school, but man, just to hear these folks, it's really funny to listen to them talk about their kids, and you draw these parallels between what we went through with our kid and what they're going through with their kid. And I'm like, man, your kid's at the University of Texas. Like he's one of the best baseball players in the country. But they don't see it that way. It's still their kid, still their little baby and all that stuff.
And still the struggles.
Yeah, exactly.
And one couple we hung out with, we kind of bonded with pretty close. When there was a time when their kid got to be in the spotlight, and you got to see it go from lighthearted to all of a sudden this like
just
like and that was us when our kid got up to bat, or when he pitched in little league and things like that. So it's kind of cool to see that and just be included in that. Like it was so much fun.
Yeah, that was, I would definitely say that was a highlight of the weekend was getting to meet a lot of the parents and just having conversations with them and just talking to them, about baseball, and just hearing their kind of experience of being like a Texas baseball parent. And you made a comment about like just how tight knit the baseball parent sort of community is.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from football. I mean, I love baseball. My son's been a baseball player since he was 3 years old.
He's our son, by the way. He's our son.
Our son. Sorry, our son. Our son's been a baseball player since he's been 3 years old, and and he's played some football here and there along the way, and he's loved football. But he takes after his mama. He's kind of a smaller built kid, so he stuck to the baseball side of things and the sport. But man, that I can't ever say this word right, so if I say it wrong, correct me. But camaraderie? Am I saying that
Camaraderie.
right?
Yeah.
In the baseball family is so huge. And it's such a close-knit group, I feel like, and even though there's parents from all across the United States or whatever, it's like they still tried to get together and to say, "Hey, we're going here to pregame. We're going here to do this," and it's up to them if they wanna come or whatnot, but, I mean, just the fact that they try to get together and try to talk, and there's a parent section, and you can pick out the parent section at a football game.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know where the parents are sitting. I mean,
Well,
they're
we
all
don't
over the
because we're obviously not near where the
eh,
parents are sitting.
it's such a huge,
Yeah, huge
huge
deal.
team. It's a
100,000 versus
huge development. So, the baseball side of things is more smaller, it's more close knit, and, I mean, both of them bring, I mean, just a huge fan base, don't get me wrong, but there's something to be said about baseball and a baseball family,
yeah.
and even though our kid, he's done with baseball, he's decided not to go the college route, he's doing what he's his own thing, and he's doing great at what he's doing. um, we still are in touch with the baseball family, but we're not there every Friday, Saturday, Sunday anymore. So it was nice this last weekend, to be included in a baseball family and just to kind of just thrive on that. And there's something to be said about a baseball family. And I'm
Yeah,
just going to leave it
absolutely.
at
It
that.
was a good time. It was a good time, and to your point about baseball seeming like it's more close knit, I think a lot of that is just simply the fact that you touched on it. There's 100,000+ at a football game when you
Yeah.
go watch the University of Texas Longhorns, and there's 100 kids on that roster from walk-ons all the way through to the scholarship players,
Yeah.
and so it's just kind of impossible for all of those people to just know each other and even know that they're there. But when you go for baseball, like you said, it's more of a quaint sort of atmosphere. You can tell like that's the parents over
Yeah.
there, so yeah, it was really cool. A couple, one group of parents invited us to come sit with them for the game, for the Texas Tech game, which was absolutely a blast. So we had a good time, man. I got to do left field for the first time as a Texas baseball fan. I actually got to. I get a text from Mark about, I don't know, halfway through the game. He goes, "Come out to left field." I'm like, well, shit. So I invited the dad we were sitting with. I said, "Hey, I'm about to go grab a couple beers, go out to left field." He was cool. He was in the midst of it. So I let that sleeping dog lie. I went and grabbed a couple beers. I went out to left field and we did left field. You'll see a video of that when I get my video together for YouTube. But awesome experience there.
Can I add, because we gotten far away and I wanted to add into this, but when we went up to the press box, am I saying that right? The press
Mm-hmm,
box,
mm-hmm.
and with Craig Way, and many of those people could have been people like us, like first time up there. This is not their normal thing, but we went up there and we were kind of like, what do we do? What do we say? Like, what's the process? And he was up there and was like, hey, I'm gonna sit next to you. Hey, I'm so and so. Hey, what's your name? Hey, and he just made it very comfortable for us in that space. And he probably had no idea, or maybe he did, I don't know, that it
I
was
mean,
our
I'm pretty
first
famous. I'm
time.
pretty famous.
But the fact that he was just so outgoing and very personable and approachable meant so much to somebody who's, like, just trying to learn, trying to do the thing, and trying to to, you know, be up in there and root for their team and do the whole process. And he did a very good job making us feel comfortable and introduce us to Keith Moreland, and it that was pretty cool. I don't think he realized probably how much that little bit meant to somebody like us who's
Yeah.
just kind of
Yeah. That's just
learning
what
the
those guys
whole
do.
process,
Yeah.
you know? So that was pretty cool, because I was sitting there. I mean, you probably felt more comfortable than me, but I was sitting there like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
What's happening? And as soon
Yeah.
as he started talking and kind of opening up, I kind of felt more comfortable.
Yeah.
So that
Absolutely.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, great time we had covering that game, doing that game. We did not ever go back to the press box because It
was
was so
hot.
crowded and hot and just like, and so we sat in our seats. We had bought seats like way before we ever got credentials, so we were already hooked up there. And honestly, you didn't really need seats. Like you could have sat almost anywhere in that ballpark. I would say Saturday night though, for the Texas and Texas Tech game, the best crowd of all three of the games we went to, and we saw parts of the other games. So I guess technically we were at 5 games that weekend. So, but the crowd for Texas Tech and Texas is pretty good until the end. The Tech fans kind of cleared out and went and did Vegas, I think. And I don't blame them. It was bad. So anyway, great time doing that. I think the other thing that was really cool was being able to go to the post game pressers and having access to that. And just sitting down with the players and the coaches and just kind of, asking questions and listening to the questions that other people asked as they were in there. Chip Brown, Horns 24/7 guy, was in all the press conferences I went to. You can tell he's been doing this for, I don't know, like 20 something plus years. Chip's been on the beat for Texas sports. So it was really cool to meet him. Really interesting thing. And this really makes me feel famous and important. The last press conference on Sunday, we get done and the players and the coaches get up, and players and coach, it was just Schloss in there with whichever players he brought in. And so I'm headed out as well. And our paths cross like right there. And he just randomly shakes my hand and says, thanks for coming out. He looks at my hat. And he just followed me on Twitter maybe a couple weeks ago. So I know he probably recognized the logo. He's like, where do I recognize that logo? But that was kind of cool. Just for him to just make a point to say, hey, thanks for coming out. And I was like, yeah, man, I hope my questions weren't too terrible. Because I've never done this before. I didn't say any of this, but anyway, great time. That was awesome. That was a great experience. I hope
everybody has their first. It's okay.
That's right. Everybody has their first. It wasn't bad. I think I did good. I think I did good. But anyway, I hope one day I can make that my job, because that's got to be cool to just, hey man, I'm gonna go talk sports and talk to sports people. So anyway, great time out in Vegas for sure. We didn't gamble at all.
No.
We talked about that on our last show, how we're not big gamblers. We didn't
lose no money.
Cent. Yeah. We didn't win anything, but we didn't waste anything either. We did sit at a $120 buffet.
I do not regret that though.
So. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. The buffet at the Cosmopolitan where we stay, what's it called? The Twisted Spoon or the Wicked Spoon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Pretty good. Pretty good as far as the buffet goes. I think we went too early though. We went too early because we missed out on a lot of the lunch items.
But good thing we did, because Vegas airport was no joke. But
that's
anyway,
true.
That's
true. Yeah, getting in and out of Vegas is a mess.
So it was a good thing. It was a good thing we went early. But the best time to go, if you want to go to a brunchy, lunchy buffet, is to go 10:30-ish, because then they cross-serve your breakfast with your lunch. So you get the most bang for your buck. So
there it is. There's the inside scoop on buffets and love. It was good. It was good in Las Vegas. The buffet was good. And then we come home and we get on a plane with probably I'm probably off.
Oh God.
Tons of Aussies and New Zealanders. Like this, I felt like everybody on this plane.
They was buff.
Well, I felt like I was on the wrong plane. I felt like I got on the not plane going to Dallas, and I felt like I was on a plane to wherever the
LA
hell
or something.
Yeah. So anyway, that was kind of different and interesting. That doesn't happen every day, that you get on a plane with a bunch of rugby people.
They was some big dudes.
Yeah, they were big. They were not bigger than me, but they were pretty big.
They was big.
Whatever. Anyways, we didn't get home until late. It was past 11 by the time we got. We landed about 10:30, but by the time we got home, it was past 11. We were wore out. We're old now, so it takes a couple of days to get squared away from all that stuff. But again, great trip. We had a blast. The Horns sweep again this weekend. They swept their midseason. The Horns are on fire right now. I don't think a lot of people realize how hard it is to be 13-1 right now.
Right.
If you're a college baseball team.
Yeah.
Regardless of who you're playing.
ranked number 12. I mean, what the is that?
Yeah,
Come
they'll,
on
they'll
now.
get better.
All right,
They'll get better.
when do they do rankings in baseball compared to football?
There'll be a new poll out tomorrow.
Okay, so they do they do it weekly or how do
Yeah,
they
they
do
do
it?
it weekly, just like they
Okay.
do. And so I mean, I think there's more teams or there's more groups that do baseball polls that get put out that like people care about, I guess is the best way to say it,
Mhm.
than there are in football. There's probably like 3, 4, 5 polls, I think, that for baseball. And I think they all do their new rankings on Mondays. So yeah, there'll be some new polls. I don't know. I don't know what happened at all over the weekend in other baseball. So I don't know if anybody ahead of them might fall below and they might bump up. To me, it doesn't matter. Like right now, you're in striking distance. You're ranked 12th in the country in one poll. I don't know what they are in all the polls because again, there's multiples. You're in striking distance. It's time. Like they're gonna go start their SEC play this next weekend in Starkville. They make a run through these next 5, 6, 7 weeks of SEC play where they've got LSU, they've got Arkansas, they've got Texas A&M. They wrap it up with Florida at the end, the last home series before the tournament, before the SEC tournament. So plenty of opportunity for this Texas team to continue to build that resume and move up in those polls. So it's just about going and winning baseball games. So man, we're excited. I think a few weeks ago we start the baseball season. We're about to start the baseball season. I don't know if I feel like they're going to be this good to this point.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, they have not played like any great teams. That hasn't happened yet. It will over the next few weeks as they get into SEC play. They're going to play a lot better teams, but neither have any of those SEC teams played great teams. And a lot of those SEC teams that you look at, like your LSU, your A&M preseason number 1, your Arkansas, they've lost games. And Texas, they did lose that opener against Louisville, kind of in heartbreaking fashion, kind of a meltdown there at the end twice. But man, since then, I don't feel like even though some of the games have been close, I think since then, the only game I've been like, oh shit, was that Washington game on Friday night out in Vegas, where they got a pretty decent lead and then Washington got back in it. And I kept turning to you and saying, man, we're really going to lose this game. Are we really going to lose this game?
We did it.
No, yeah, that's right. We didn't
did
lose. So yeah. So
oh,
go ahead.
Are you wrapping things up?
I can, or we can talk about something else. I'm good.
But before you wrap it up, we got to give a shout out to that pizza place.
Oh yeah,
that saved us Saturday night.
Pin Up Pizza in Las Vegas. It's across the strip from the Cosmopolitan. You got to go over like the little walkway, the overhead walkway across Las Vegas Boulevard. Mega pizza slices. I mean, these things were big,
and they was good.
Yeah, they were really good. It was good. So we did that. So we we did the show. We came back over. We got in the vehicle, drove I say just on foot. It would have taken us like 30 minutes on foot. It took us like 5 minutes in a car,
which
to go just like half a block.
We learned that really hard way for David Copperfield.
Well, yeah, we tried to do the hard way. We missed David Copperfield on Saturday night. We got about a third of the way and just were like, no, I don't even want to go see David Copperfield that bad.
Done. So. We ain't walking.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. So
we'll go to bed. Okay, so side note, sorry.
Yeah, so we did that. Anyhow, yeah, so we get back from the show. We get parked in the hotel garage, and we're like, we got to go eat some pizza. We got to get something to eat. And we went and did that. Pin Up Pizza, really expensive. But again, I don't think anything is cheap in Vegas whatsoever.
$15 a slice, but let me tell you,
it was really good.
Go to bed with that on your stomach because
you'll be
that
fine
really
the next
helped.
day. That's what we woke up the next day and we were good.
We was golden.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, great Vegas trip. I mean, I don't know if I have a regret, honestly. I mean, we missed our show. I think that was a regret, missing the show on Saturday night.
Yeah. We should have drove. Other than that, we should have drove instead of tried to walk. But
yeah, we definitely should have done that. So anyway, a good trip, and we're looking forward to getting back to Texas baseball, sort of reacquainting ourselves with some of those folks we met out in Vegas. We want to meet them again at LSU tournament. We'll be at the LSU weekend down in Austin.
That will be my first legit home game.
Yeah, because
I tailgated. I never went.
You tailgated out there, but you didn't go in. Me and Brayden, I took our son in. So
This will be fun for me. I'm ready.
Yeah, we're excited. So anyway, SEC play is coming. The boys go on the road to Mississippi State. They play UT Arlington, I believe, Tuesday night. And we'll talk about all this stuff on the show tomorrow night on the bullpen with Mark and Zach, as we do every week. By the way, the time for that is now 8:30 p.m. instead of 6:30 p.m. It was decided by board vote that 8:30 p.m. would be a better time than 6:30 p.m. So
Working professionals.
yeah, that's right. So we'll see how that does. But yeah, tomorrow night, myself, Mark, and Zach will be live on YouTube, live on X, with the bullpen, and we'll talk about the upcoming week of Texas baseball and what it's going to be like to go on the road. And Mark is actually going to be out at Starkville, so
jealous.
I am a little jealous. I'm half jealous because the weather's going to be trash.
We don't know. We don't know what Horn Takes is going to do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not completely out yet, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, we're excited about that. Make sure, guys, I got a new store up. I did a Shopify store. I'm gonna get the link in the bio here on Twitter. Excuse me, on YouTube. It's definitely on the bio over on Twitter and TikTok. And listen, the deal with this is I got a big inventory of these koozies that I bought. These Horntex koozies right here.
They're pretty.
They're pretty nice, and they will keep your beers cold. And then I have these hats that a ton of people ask me about, like, where can I get that hat? And I just, man, I'm old, so I didn't know, I didn't even know what a Shopify was, and I didn't know what it could do for me. But anyway, I have the remaining inventory of my first run of these hats up on that Shopify store. The cool thing, 10% of every sale goes back to the Texas One Fund. So I'm not in this trying to make a bunch of money or anything crazy like that. I am just trying to sell some stuff that I already have to some people that have said, hey, where can I get that? And give some money back to Texas Athletics. And I think what I'll do is during the season, whatever season it is, that's what I'll donate to. So we cover men's baseball, we cover the men's football. So that's what we'll donate to. In the fall, if we sell some things, we'll donate to the football Texas One Fund. Right now, we'll donate to the Texas One Fund for baseball. And I'm working on some stuff with Mike over at Last Stand Hats, working on some hat designs to get on the website, to get on the shop, that will sell and get some money, again, back into Texas baseball. So one of the things pre-Schloss was just there wasn't a big push for Texas NIL for baseball. And obviously Schlossnagle comes in, builds a lot of excitement. And I think they're on the right track there. We want to be a part of that momentum going forward. So go on there, buy a hat. Make sure these hats are fitted. So make sure you pick the right size. I cannot do returns unless it's trashed. If the hat is like somehow destroyed, I'll get you your money back. I don't think that's going to happen because I'm going to pack it up in a really nice box and all that stuff. But so make sure you pick the right size and also get yourself a koozie to keep your drinks cold. And as the summer approaches, like spring, summer is coming, you need a koozie to keep all that stuff cold. So yeah, check out the shop. Special lady friend, I appreciate you being with me this afternoon. Do you have anything else before we get out of here?
No, I'm good. Let's go into this next week.
Let's get into this next week. Let's go 4-0 in baseball, and we will see you tomorrow night on the bullpen at 8:30. You guys have a good rest of your weekend.
Hook 'em.
Y'all get hooked.